Okay, so we'll go on to 7A here. In 7A, it says the game counts how many times somebody pressed the space bar, but it keeps giving points when the space bar is still pressed, even if that's not a new press. The block key went down will only give a point for new presses, so it's a better choice for this program. So this code is based on one of the first big downloadable apps, and I use the term big very loosely. It was a simple game where if you tapped on your phone screen, it would simply record that you clicked it, and it would just keep track of how many times you tapped the screen. So go ahead and run the code to see how it works, and press the space bar, and you'll notice as long as you press the space bar, you're getting credit for 1. Well, what they want is every time you press the space bar, you get credit for 1. It doesn't matter how long you actually hold that down for. So we're going to swap out key down here with key went down. All right, and we'll control with the space still. And reset it now and run it and see how it runs differently. You can hold the space bar down for a while, but notice now here when you do that, you only get credit for 1. So it doesn't matter if it's a short press or a really long press, each one is 1. But now it's literally keeping track of how many times you press the space bar as opposed to how many seconds you hold down the space bar for. Easy one. Okay, so let's go on to B. We're going to change the animation. So we're going to use a separate image for each motion here. Alright, so this one, they want us to make a bug that always faces the direction it is moving using the provided program and images. Alright, so let's do what we've learned to do in this lesson. Alright, well, if we take a look here, they've already done that. Alright, here's key down, key down, key down, key down. All the motions work. Alright, the problem is the bug seems to be defying some type of logic in that when it flies up, it doesn't actually face up, it just like levitates. And when I press down, it just descends. It doesn't actually face down. All right, the only one that's working is left. Left, it actually faces left. All right, so we want to go ahead and reprogram the images here from the animation tab. So let's go over to that animation tab, and we're going to simply duplicate the fly that's already there because I don't want to redraw it. The image is fine, we just need to change it. So notice underneath it, once you click it, there's the duplicate button. So we're going to do that a few times. So we have 4 total versions, the original plus 3 copies. And since the one that's facing left I'm going to change the name of that to fly left, which I know is going to break the code, but we'll fix that in a minute. So now on the first copy, notice we've got some drawing options here that can help us. Over here on the right side, there is one that allows us to flip the sprite vertically. It's the one with the triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and press that, and then I will rename that fly right. So that's the one I'm going to use when the fly flies to the right. Now as far as up and down, I can't use that, but notice over here there is one that will turn the sprite right underneath it. It says counterclockwise. It's the 3/4 arrow there with the dashes. So go ahead and press that, and we'll take the first one, and since it's now facing down, I'll call that fly down. And I'll repeat the process with the last one, but I need this one to go up, so I'm going to have to press it a few more times, and we will call this fly up. Now, that hasn't actually fixed my code. It's actually made it worse for a short time being. But we'll go ahead and edit it so it works like we expect. Notice I didn't use any random capital letters there, which is one less thing I'm going to have to remember when I go to write my code. Okay, so let's go back to the code, and as I said, it's broken now. All right, because remember, fly doesn't exist because we renamed it. So we're going to take that set animation block that's there, and we'll go ahead and just drag that into the up option. And remember, the new name is fly up, so you can type it in or you can go ahead and choose it from the drop down. And we're going to have to repeat that process with all of these other ones, dragging in a new set animation block, renaming it bug, dragging a new set animation block, renaming it bug, dragging a new set animation block, naming it bug, and then picking the appropriate image for each. So down is fly down, left is fly left, and right is fly right. So you can run the code and see you start off with a box now, but now notice the different arrow directionals control not only the motion, but the look of the sprite. Okay, so now the only thing that might be odd to you is that it starts as a box that changes into a fly. All right, so back up top, we probably want to go ahead and set the animation again. Where do you want it to be? Which one do you want it to be? Pick one that you like. Now it should start as a fly once I pick the appropriate variable name, and continue as a fly using the directional keypad that we've set. Great. Okay, one more. C, speed boost. Learn how to use a nested if statement here. So a nested if statement is when we put an if statement inside of an if statement here. All right, so the directions here say we want to make the sprite get a boost in speed, or in other words, go faster whenever the space bar is pressed when moving right or moving left. All right, and then we want to also make sure it gets a boost whenever it's moving up or it's moving down. All right, so let's look at the motion here. So notice right and left are already controlled by the key down right and key down left. So we can run this and see there's our emoji. He does move left and right, or she moves left and right, whichever it is. All right, but it does not move up and down. Okay, so we have to do that one totally ourselves. So let's add the conditional if statement inside the loop. Notice that's what it's telling me to do here. And so now we'll control its .x when the key is pressed. So key down inside both those. And again, the magic that's going to make the boost happen is space. All right, and then we need to add another statement that's going to give it the boost in speed. So in other words, an x equals block from variables. And both of these are going to be emoji.x. And again, you want it to go faster. So change the emoji.x speed to be something more. All right, 5 was the original, so I'm going to go 10. And we'll replicate over here. The only difference is going to be it's not going to be a plus when we go left, it's going to be a minus. It helps when I spell emoji right. Okay, let's try it. So I press right, it moves. When I press space, it speeds up. When I press left, it moves. When I press space, it speeds up. All right, notice when I press space alone, it does not work. All right, it's only when I press the two combined. Because remember, space is a booster. So the way this works is right has to be pressed and space has to be pressed. Or left has to be pressed and space has to be pressed. You can try it if you want to really quick. Press the space bar initially with your right or left and then let go. And let's see how it works. Okay, and you can see the moment I let go there, it does slow down. Okay, so that's how a nested statement works. So now they want you to try and write nested statements for up and down. So go ahead and mimic what you see there for up and down. Obviously the big change is going to be you're not going to be controlling the emoji's X. And then come on back when you think you're done. Alright, and hopefully your code looks something like this. This is the correct sequencing. So for up, you're taking the emoji's Y and subtracting 5, and when we press the space, I'm subtracting 10, again from the Y. When I press down, the emoji's Y is adding 5, and when I press the space, it's adding 10. And again, the best test of all, run your code, make sure it works. So I'll reset my code, press the down key with the space, and notice not only does it move, but it gets the boost in speed that we expect. Congratulations, you've reached the end of lesson 16.